I lived in the Saxton house they told me not to go. The locals warned me about the house on Old Hollow Road. It's cursed, the old gas station clerk muttered as he rang up my coffee. Another man spat on the ground and made the sign of the cross. I thought they were just superstitious. Small-town nonsense. I had rented haunted places before. I'd been a paranormal investigator for years. I've slept in crumbling asylums and filmed seances in abandoned churches. Nothing ever truly scared me. Until the Saxton house. It started the first night. I arrived in Yorkville in late September 2017. Autumn had begun to rot the trees, and the sky always looked like it was holding back rain. I had found the listing online. Historic home, isolated, no neighbors, $400, 0 cents/month. Too good to be true, or maybe too cheap to be safe. The house stood on a hill surrounded by fog-thick woods. A crooked gate welcomed me with a metallic groan, and the porch groaned beneath my boots like it hadn't held weight in decades. But I liked it. It was exactly what I needed: silence, isolation, and the perfect backdrop for my documentary. But the silence was never real. That first night, I heard footsteps upstairs. I ignored it. I set up my equipment, placed EMF detectors in the hallway, lit a few candles in the parlor for ambience. At exactly 2:13 a.m., my recorder picked up a woman's whisper. "He's still in the mirror." By the third night, I stopped sleeping. Something was breathing outside my bedroom door. Not walking, just standing, waiting. Deep, wet inhalations like lungs filled with mud. The doorknob jiggled once, then silence. I stayed up until dawn, clutching my flashlight like a weapon. The attic was the worst. I didn't go up there at first. The door had 5 long scratch marks, like from fingernails dragged down in desperation. I only noticed them when I passed with my coffee in hand. The air was colder near the attic than anywhere else in the house, even with all windows shut. On night 6, I decided to go in. The attic smelled like old wax and copper. Symbols were carved into the walls. Circles with strange lines, some freshly etched. I didn't understand them, but they felt wrong, like they didn't belong in this world. There were chains bolted to the floor, still stained dark. In the far corner sat a cracked mirror. I saw my own reflection, but off. The eyes stared back too long. It was still me, but it wasn't. I turned away quickly. That night, I found her diary. It was hidden beneath a floorboard in the parlor, wrapped in a silk cloth, yellowed with age. Her name was written inside: Emily Saxton. The entries began normally. Stories of grief, of her husband Thomas, lost at sea, of her retreat into this house to find peace. But the final pages were wild. She wrote about rituals, blood, voices whispering through the walls. I saw his face in the mirror, but it wasn't him. His eyes were black, no light, no soul. I can't make it stop. I thought I brought Thomas back, but I brought something else. It wants me to stay. It doesn't like when I leave the attic. The final line was just 3 words, scrawled so hard the paper tore. He isn't gone. After reading it, everything changed. The house came alive. Doors slammed on their own. I heard humming. A woman's voice, soft and sad. My cameras recorded shadows passing just off frame. Every mirror in the house began to crack, one by one, without me touching them. Even my reflection began to delay, blinking out of sync, lips moving when mine were still. And the breathing came back. Closer. Sometimes just inches from my ear, while I lay frozen in bed, unable to move. One night, I found writing on my bedroom wall, written in ash. Say my name. Free me. I knew what it wanted. I had read the legend. If you stand before the attic mirror and say her name 3 times, she will appear. I was desperate. I thought maybe it would end the haunting, so I did it. At midnight, I stood in the attic. I lit the last candle and faced the cracked mirror. I saw myself, pale, tired, shaking. Behind me, nothing. Emily Saxton. Emily. On the third call, the candle went out. I saw her, standing behind me. Long black dress, no eyes, just dark holes weeping blood. Her mouth was sewn shut, but she was screaming, not with her lips, but through my skull, like her voice had tunneled inside me. I turned around. No one was there. But I wasn't alone. Something followed me down the stairs that night. Every step I took, it took one too. My shadow moved without me. I packed my things, drove for hours without stopping. I didn't even lock the door. I never went back. But sometimes I dream about the house, about the mirror, about her. 2 weeks ago, I woke up to find a red handprint on my bathroom mirror. I live in an apartment, on the 3rd floor, with no attic, no chains, no history. And yet, every night at 2:13 a.m., I hear her humming, The Saxton Haunting, Part 2. It followed me. I tried to forget. I tried to live again. But Emily, or whatever wears her name now, didn't stay in the house. She came with me. It's been 3 months since I left Yorkville. I moved into a small apartment in Boston. 3rd floor, secure building, no attic, no creaking wood, no cold spots. I told myself it was over, that what I experienced was just sleep deprivation, stress, psychological projection from reading too much of her diary. But trauma doesn't knock, it leaks. The first sign was the mirror in my bathroom. I stepped out of the shower and found a handprint on the glass. Long, thin fingers, too long, like someone had dragged their hand downward slowly while watching me. The mirror was fogged, but the print wasn't on the surface. It was inside, beneath the glass. I took the mirror down. I threw it away. The next morning, there was another one, on my bedroom closet mirror. The nightmares returned next. I'd wake in the middle of the night to find myself standing in front of a mirror, staring into it, mouth moving silently, as if saying her name. But I couldn't remember getting out of bed. My phone would be recording. Each time, the videos showed me standing there for exactly 2 minutes and 13 seconds. No sound, no expression, just me and the sound of my step sliding on my feet. 4 young miners terrified by darkness. A face sliding into the fog, no sound, no expression, just me frozen. And once, someone else standing behind me. A figure in black. Just a glimpse, barely a silhouette, but I know it was her. I tried burning her diary. It didn't work. The fire went out as soon as I dropped it in. The lighter failed. The gas stove wouldn't ignite. My power flickered. Every light in the apartment went off, except for the microwave clock, which blinked 2:13 over and over. My mother burnt the lighter in herself, and the clock began to blink. The lighter flickered. Her power flickered off and only after I set it on would the lighter flicker, which blinked 2:13 over and over. I left the book outside in the trash. The next day, it was back on my kitchen table, dry, untouched, opened to a new page that I swear hadn't existed before. You called me, you made me real again. Now you must take my place. Then came the scratching, not loud, not frantic, deliberate, rhythmic. It started from inside the walls, then from inside the mirror, then from inside my closet. At first, I tried sleeping with the lights on. That didn't stop the whispers. I stopped sleeping. I stopped working. I barely ate. I just sat, watching the closet door, waiting for it to open again. Every night, exactly at 2:13 a.m., it creaked open by itself. The last time, I saw something crawl out. It wasn't human. It had her face, but it was all wrong. Her mouth hung open in a scream she wasn't making. Her eyes were empty. Skin sagged like it had been boiled and stitched back on, and she dragged something behind her. A mirror. Broken, fractured, still reflecting me. I reached out to a demonologist I had interviewed once for another project. Father Granger, a sharp-eyed old priest who had seen more than most people could handle. I sent him the footage. He didn't hesitate. "You didn't banish her," he told me. "You invited her." He said her name had power. Saying it aloud in front of the mirror at the witching hour had acted like a ritual, especially in a place where her energy still lingered. I didn't break the bond. I sealed it. "She's not just a ghost," he said. "She's a parasite now. She's attached to you. She feeds off fear, sleep, isolation. The longer you deny her, the stronger she becomes." He offered to help, a cleansing ritual, but warned me, "You must return to the Saxton house. That's where the tether began. That's where it must." So now, I'm driving back. I'm writing this in a gas station parking lot, less than 30 miles from Yorkville. The rain hasn't stopped since I crossed into Maine. My phone battery is dying fast, even though it was fully charged this morning. The GPS reroutes itself every time I get close to the house, as if something doesn't want me there. It looks worse than before, rotted, swallowed by vines and fog, windows shattered, front door hanging on one hinge. The air feels wrong, thick, wet, electric. I feel like I'm walking underwater. The attic still smells like wax and blood. The mirror is still there, and she is waiting. Father Granger is with me. He came. He brought blessed salt, relics, a small black book filled with ancient Latin. We stand before the mirror. He begins the ritual. The air grows cold. The flame of his candle stretches sideways, like it's being pulled into the glass. The mirror starts to tremble, and she appears. Not behind me this time, in front of me, inside the mirror, her face pressed against the glass, cracking it with every breath. She's mouthing something, but it's not her name. It's mine. "Let me out. Let me in." Father Granger shouts the final incantation. The mirror shatters, not just cracks, but explodes. Glass rains around us like a storm. A wind roars through the attic, pulling at my clothes, tearing pages from Emily's diary, screaming in 1,000 voices. Then, silence. The candles extinguish themselves. I don't remember leaving the attic. I just remember waking up on the porch at dawn. Father Granger gone. My camera melted. The diary burned to ash in my hands. The house is now completely quiet. Dead. For the first time in weeks, I slept without seeing her face. But the story doesn't end there. 2 nights ago, back in my apartment, I found something scratched into the bathroom mirror. 3 words. "I never left." And now, every night at 2:13 a.m., the closet door creaks open again. I'm not alone anymore. I moved again. Different city. No mirrors. No closets with doors. I even sleep with salt around the bed. But last night I woke up at 2:13 a.m. again, not from a noise, from a feeling, like something had crawled into my chest and just laid there, watching me from the inside. My phone was recording again. The footage showed me talking in my sleep, but it wasn't my voice. Hem is awake now. She was just the beginning. I thought Emily was the source, the ghost, the curse, but something else, something older, is behind her. She was just the door. and I opened it. Today, I found a mirror inside my wall. I didn't put it there. There were nails over the drywall, fresh. Something had sealed it in. But when I tore it open, I saw not just one reflection. I saw 5, each slightly different. In one, my eyes were black. In another, my mouth was stitched shut. They were watching me. Then they all whispered in unison, "You were never you." I don't know how much longer I can resist. If you're reading this, don't say her name, and for God's sake, don't look into the mirror. I haven't slept in 6 days. Every time I close my eyes, I see him. Not her, not Emily, not anymore. Now it's him, the one behind her, the one she tried to keep locked away in the mirror, the one that used her name, her body, her grief to step into this world. I don't know his name. I don't want to. But I know this. He's inside me. Last night I woke up standing in the hallway. I had written something on the wall in black marker over and over. I see me. I see me. I see me. At the bottom, something else, written in what looked like dried blood. We see you too. And when I look directly, he's gone, but not forgotten. He's always closer the next night. Tonight I found a note in my fridge. Yes, in the fridge. It was wet, cold, written on the back of a photo I don't remember taking. A photo of me, asleep in bed. The message read, "Your body is a room. You left the door open. I think I know what he wants, not just to haunt, to take." I don't think I'm alone in here anymore. There's something crawling beneath my skin. Thoughts that aren't mine. Feelings that don't belong. I hear a voice every time I look in a reflection for too long. Let go. Let me. And honestly, I'm getting tired of fighting it. But there's something else. Something Emily wrote. Something I didn't understand at first. In her diary, buried deep in the last pages, she mentioned the mirror ritual, not to summon, but to trap, a way to bind him, not just banish. A reversal, a lock, but it came at a price. She wrote, "You can trap him, but not without feeding him a body, not without giving him a room to stay." I think that's what she did to herself. She sacrificed herself to keep him in the house. And I broke the seal. Now it's my turn. I found the last mirror, a true one, not made of glass, but of obsidian, hidden in an antique shop 2 hours outside Boston. The man who sold it to me said it was from a burial chamber in the Andes, used in old Incan rituals to speak with the dead. He told me not to use it indoors. I didn't tell him what I'm planning. It's almost time. I've drawn the circle. Salt, ash, bone. Her diary lies in the center, next to a photo of the Saxton house. My blood is on the page. The mirror sits before me, covered in black cloth. The clock says 2:07 a.m. He's already here. I can feel him pressing against my skin, against the inside of my skull, laughing without breath. But tonight, I'm going to lock the door. If this works, no one will hear from me again. But if it fails, check your mirrors. You'll see me, but it won't be me anymore. Of course, Here is Part 6 of the Saxton haunting, written in English, continuing directly from where Part 5 ended, with the story spreading through recordings and digital files as the entity evolves beyond the mirror. The Saxton haunting, Part 6. They told me not to listen. I did. They told me not to share it. I didn't listen to that either. My name is Daniel Harper. And I think I've made it worse. After that night, after the recorder started playing itself, I uploaded the audio file to a private cloud just to analyze the waveform. I'm an engineer after all. Logic always felt stronger than fear. But when I opened the file, it had changed again. It wasn't just voice anymore. It had layers, static that pulsed with rhythm, frequencies too low for normal hearing, a sub-bass hum that made the room feel like it was breathing. Then came the whisper, a new one, right before the track ends, greater than, it's not just sound anymore, it's signal. I didn't share the file publicly, not really. I only sent it to a friend, John, another audio guy I trusted. He called me that same night, whispering like something was in the room with him, greater than, man, what the hell is this? I listened once, my screen turned black. Just my reflection. Only, it wasn't moving. Greater than, it smiled at me, Dan. John hasn't answered any calls since. Now it's spreading. I don't even need to send it. Somehow, people who were near my workspace started hearing it. One of the interns said she heard someone talking through the monitors, even when they were off. Another swore her voice changed mid-sentence during a voiceover session, like something else was speaking through her. People are afraid to enter Studio B, and I'm afraid of what might happen if I record anything else. But I had to test it. I recorded myself last night. Just white noise, silence, no talking, no triggers. When I played it back this morning, I heard something underneath my breathing, like another track was layered in, a second voice, saying something in broken English, greater than, you see me now, so they will too. Greater than, this is my voice, this is my vessel. Greater than, you are my broadcasts. This isn't a ghost. It's a signal-based entity, a parasite of language, voice, vibration. It began with a mirror, with sight, but now it's in sound. It learned to travel through recordings. Maybe Emily tried to stop it with mirrors. Maybe the ritual in the Saxton attic held it for a while. But now it's digital. Now it's scalable. Now it doesn't need mirrors anymore. It needs listeners. I deleted every file. I smashed every hard drive. I burned the recorder, and still, last night, I heard it. Coming from inside my headphones. Unplugged, sitting on the desk. It whispered, greater than, thank you for setting me free. I'm leaving this message on an old typewriter, no electricity, no internet, just ink and paper, because every other form, every screen, every speaker is now a door. And if you're reading this, it's already looking for you. Do not listen to the audio. Do not repeat its words. Do not speak its name. Whatever it was that haunted Saxton, now it's time to descend it. Now it's time to descend it. Now it's not haunting, it's broadcasting. My name is Daniel Harper, and if you're reading this, then I am already gone. Not dead, not missing, but hollowed. A breathing echo of what I used to be. This is the last thing I will ever write. After this, there will be no more words, not mine, only his. It began with the mirror. You know that much. But that wasn't the true beginning. Not really. The thing that haunts Saxton didn't crawl from glass. It crawled from a forgotten syllable, a frequency so precise, so ancient, that even listening is a kind of ritual, like tuning your soul to a signal that should never be received. I now believe Saxton wasn't just haunted. It was seeded. I've pieced it together from the broken whispers in corrupted files, notes scribbled in margins, and my own fractured recordings. A coven once lived near Saxton. Not the kind with pointed hats, but scholars of sound, monks of echo and resonance. They believed words could shape reality, that there were combinations of sound that, when spoken aloud, could thin the veil between worlds. They were right. They called it the Breathed One. Not a name exactly, a title, because it didn't exist until someone breathed it into sound. And once it was spoken, truly spoken, it heard itself. That was enough. The mirror in the attic wasn't the oracle, it was a trap. A poor one. A temporary lock designed to reflect the creature back into silence. But silence is weak, and time wears down every seal. When I listened to the original recording, I didn't just hear his voice, he heard mine. And that's how he escaped. I've started to lose time. First seconds, then hours. I'll find myself in strange parts of the house with no memory of how I got there. I'll replay a file only to realize I recorded it. Speaking in tongues I don't recognize, my voice layered with others. Last night I found dozens of voice memos on my phone, all time-stamped between 2:13 and 3:03 IEMM. All signed with the same word, reflection. Some of the files aren't even audio, they're just breathing. Rhythmic. Wet. Like something with lungs too large for its frame. Sometimes, under the breath, you can hear a click. Like teeth. I tried to destroy everything. The recorder, the laptop, the drives. I even burned the journal. But the words.